This video will discuss the first step of processing, which is stretching the image. In this video, we will see two methods of how to stretch an image. I am going to take the example of Andromeda Galaxy at the Sky Photo Trip 9th edition. We had used Hyperstar on 14-inch to shoot the Andromeda Galaxy M31. And after stacking the light frames, dark frames, and the flat frames, we got a single image, which is this image. Uh, the output of all the stacking in Images Plus. This is a fit image and was the output of the software called Images Plus. So here is the Images Plus software, and if I open this particular file in the folder of Hyperstar M31, you can see that this stacked image hardly shows any detail. You can see the central portion of the nucleus of the Andromeda Galaxy and a few stars, but nothing much more. So in Images Plus, since this is a fit file, we'll have to save the copy as a TIFF file so that it can be opened in other programs like Photoshop. So save as TIFF and 16-bit. If we now go to Photoshop, so the same TIFF image is over here, and of course it does not show any detail. If we look at the histogram of this image, I am going to press Ctrl L on the keyboard. Ctrl L for levels. The dialog box open, and you can see all these black areas till about over here is the data in this image. So you can see that all the data is gathered towards the left side. The left side is mostly dark, and right side of the histogram, as you know, is a white, the bright side. But in this particular image, all the data, all the pixels are gathered at the left side, and you can see a big high peak, mountain peak over here. Stretching the image basically means that we need to redistribute the brightness levels of this histogram over the entire histogram, over the entire brightness levels that are available in this image. Now this image is a 16-bit image. That means there are more than 65,000 brightness levels available per channel. So this is a RGB image, so red, green and blue. So you can multiply 65 into 65 into 65,000, and those many colors are also available. But at the moment, all those brightness, all those pixels are gathered towards the left, and we can hardly, but all this data is there. Even this small portion of 65,000, see the brightness level is here is 0 and it's 255 over here, but it actually represents, this number 0 to 255 represents 65,000 levels of brightness. So even if all the data is gathered at this 10% on the left side, we can still stretch the image and bring out the details. Let us see first method, how to stretch an image in Photoshop. So as you can see, I have opened the image in Photoshop, and I am going to use the curves. So you can go to Image, Adjustments and Curves, or you can press Ctrl M on the keyboard to get the curves. Here also in the curves dialog box, you can see that the histogram is all gathered towards the left side. Now we're going to make a point over here. Uh, the point output and input is about 125, but we want to make this curve run diagonally across the data. So basically we are going to drag the image and allow the curve to cut across at an oblique angle through the data. Now when you do that, you can see that the central portion of the galaxy, the nucleus, all the stars as well as the satellite galaxy, uh, they have lost their detail. They have turned white, which can be seen on the histogram also. You can see that all of these levels are now saturated white. So basically, in our image processing, nothing should be touching the brightest level. So we're going to make another point over here, and on the keyboard I'm going to press the right arrow. As the histogram over here is coming down, if you watch the nucleus of the galaxy, it is also details are appearing in, but this should never go down like this. So if this goes down, you can see that in the brightest portion there is a donut being formed, which is this level, which is going down. So you can see that the this is something odd looking and not right. So this curve should never go down, and it should form like a knee. It should not be touching the top portion of the histogram. So if I now press OK, and the image appears smooth, and I press Ctrl L again on the keyboard, you can see that the histogram is shifted from the left side. It has also broadened. But what about all these small little hills? These are actually coming from this stacking artifacts. So if we remove these stacking artifacts at the edge by cropping the image, and now again we press Ctrl L to see that this area starting from 0 to about approximately 40 or 42, this area does not contain any data. So if some part of the image does not contain any data, we should remove it out of our image by shifting the black point. And now you can see that the background has become black again. We will make another stretch adjustment by using the curves function. And again we see the histogram over here, and we make a point over here and pull it towards the left so that the this curve cuts across the data in a very oblique manner. And again we are going to form a sort of knee to bring back the center portion, the brighter portion of the galaxy. So now as you can see that the image has appeared. What we have just done is stretched the image. And if you look at the histogram, it has broadened and it is now spread all over the brightness dynamic range. And if we look at the old histogram, which was gathered at the left side, and now if we look at the present histogram, it is spread all over the dynamic range. So this is the old one, old histogram. And this is the new one. We now go to the second method of stretching an image, which is in Images Plus, and here it is called DDP, Digital Development. And the image is open in Images Plus, and in the format is FITS format. So I am going to press Ctrl D, or I can reach the same command using stretch and digital development. The dialog box for digital development looks very complicated, but we're going to break it down into small, and we're going to break it down into steps. So the first, the digital development dialog box has got two tabs and plenty of sliders. The first slider that we move is the breakpoint slider. So you can see that the image is 16-bit and it contains 65,536 levels of brightness. So we are going to move this breakpoint slider towards the left, and you can see that now the slider is at approximately 50%, 3200, 32,000. We can also change the range of this slider. So I can change the range of this slider to 1000. So now uh, this slider has a value of 0 over here and 1000 over here. So we can easily move it to 500. And the mustard color border indicate that the some operation is happening. Now the operation is complete, and you can see that stretch has been applied, and the Andromeda galaxy is visible very nicely. uh, there's a lot of data. You can see that the background is very dark in this image, so we need to increase the background weight. So that is the second slider that you move. You should move the background weight slider till the edges of the image are well seen. Now you can see by increasing the background weight, a lot of details are being visible in the outlining areas of the galaxy. Now as you can see that the background brightness has increased, but now the image is, although all these details have appeared, but we would like a little more contrast in the image. So the third slider that we move is scale function. We can move it to nth power x to the power n, and then we move the slider of exponent to increase the contrast. So the mustard color border shows that some operation is happening. So it seems that this contrast is too much, and I'm going to reduce the slider a little bit. And this is how you perform a stretch in Images Plus. So first slider that you move is breakpoints, and second slider is to slider that you move is background weight. You move it towards the left, and then finally increase the contrast using scale function n power x to the power n, and moving the exponent slider towards the right. Thank you.